Jimmy, remember it's yours rudely we're speaking to.
Yeah,
Give him his full
yeah.
title.
Yours rudely. I love it. I
Good
love
to
it.
go.
Great.
Hi, yeah. Hello there, mate. You all right?
How are you guys doing today? It's a wonderful introduction. At least someone's throwing a little bit of respect on the name. So you guys are off to a good start already today.
You've got to put respect on the name. We've got yours rudely himself with us, all the way from Chicago.
Yes, sir. How you guys doing there across the pond right now?
As good as we can be, I guess.
Yeah.
We've just been watching the news for about the last 2 hours, and it's all depressing. But other than that, good.
Yeah.
Everywhere's depressing at the minute, but we're on a national lockdown again, Trevor. So we're stuck indoors. But
I think that's coming for us soon too. I think we're gonna get another one.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Like I said, lock us down while you roll the vaccine out. It makes perfect sense. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, same here.
What could be more better than speaking to yours rudely? To keep us entertained.
Absolutely.
We might be locked down, but we're speaking with yours rudely, so we can't really complain. Silver linings.
I don't mind being. I don't mind another lockdown myself. There's a lot of derelicts out there, so I would rather keep my distance from them right now.
You hate those derelicts, don't you?
Oh, I can't stand them, man. They're everywhere, dude. Derelicts in the ring, derelicts everywhere. In and out. They're all over the place. People just don't realize it.
What classes as a derelict? I mean, I'm only asking for a friend so I can make sure my friends aren't derelicts. I know I'm not. So
I mean, you guys haven't tipped the scale of it yet, but I'll let you know. If you guys start to get to that level, or I'm like, hey, you guys are tipping the derelict scale.
You'll let us know, right?
Yeah, we're gonna have to sit down and have a serious conversation about that one. But basically the derelicts or anybody that rubs me the wrong way, and I just don't like. I don't like a lot of things people do or say. I have a very short fuse, but basically the way I look at things is, I wake up every morning, and to quote one of my icons, Ricky Bobby, I wake up every morning and piss excellence, and I expect the same of everyone else. And anybody that's not doing that, you're a derelict in my eyes.
What happens to the derelicts, though? I mean, do you just berate them a little bit, or?
Yeah, it all depends on how I'm feeling for the day. If it's something that needs to be addressed, somebody like my all-time rival Jacob Dean, that meathead pisses me off more than anybody. I train with him, but it's like I let him know on a pretty regular basis that he's one. Unfortunately, I don't think he knows how to spell the word, so we're still baby steps. But same with like Davey Bang too. He's another one of the derelicts. He's just hyped up on caffeine all day, running around like a fool and flipping all over the place. Meanwhile, I'm trying to sharpen my craft, and these idiots are just, it's.
How's that been going for you? Have you been sharpening your craft over the pandemic?
Yes, sir. We had some time where our school was closed down during the first lockdown. The second, after we got, I want to say probably through like towards the end of the summer, early fall, like things were starting to quiet down by us. So we were able to train in, small groups, groups of 4, and then we all had to wear masks the whole time that we trained. So it's definitely, I don't mind wearing the mask when I train. It's definitely tires me out quicker, but being able to get in there and still, sharpen my skills while there's really not much going on. It's definitely been beneficial for me, because during that first break between, like March to the summer, I feel like I improved a lot in the ring, where, a lot of my weaknesses were with, slowing things down, not getting too excited about everything that's going off. And I think that was kind of what turned the tide for me with my attitude. I got into this business, and everyone says it's full of egos and everybody's a prick, this and that. Well, a lot of people hide those things, and I just wear it on my sleeve. I'm like, if someone thinks I'm an asshole, then that's just, it is what it is. And you know what? That's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to get my hand raised no matter what I do. And I see a lot of people, they're posting what they're working on in training, or posting clips of what they're doing in their matches. And to answer your earlier question, I think that's what another example of a derelict is, because why would I show people what I'm working on, or during this time? Why would I give anybody the keys to how to beat me? Like, I can't do that. The only thing that people think that they have on me is if they hit me in the crotch, that they're gonna they're gonna take me out. But these days I got a crotch of steel, so no one's taking yours rudely out of the game. I was
gonna say you do a good enough job of that yourself, Trevor.
Yeah, I that is true. I've made with all this sponsorship money I got, I've made a large investment into cups. So I'm protecting my junk at all cost. And all.
Well, speaking of derelicts as well, I mean, when the unfortunate incident happened, Robert Anthony and Frank the Clown found it amusing. So there's another couple of derelicts, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. At first, Rob is one of those guys, and I've told a lot of people this, and even him, he's one of those guys that you just look at him, and he's the type of guy that, like, commands respect. And not in terms of, like, you do this or that. Just his presence, He's been wrestling for 20 years. He's a teacher, and he's a father. So when you mix all three of those things together, that's one serious dude that you don't want to piss off. And Frank gave me the wrong. I guess it was like a new confetti cannon, and he didn't know how to use it, and we faced it the wrong way. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, I'm trying to figure this thing out. I'm like, I just got to go higher with it, otherwise I'm gonna hit people. And then, sure enough, it hit me. But with all of the nonsense that they've spewed on the internet and at other local shows and stuff since, one of these days, I'm gonna have to get my revenge, because I know Frank the Clown thinks everything's all fun and games because he's king of the derelicts. I don't like that guy, but yeah, one of these days I'm coming for them. And Rob recently won a title in freelance wrestling, so with him being the new Legacy champion, I might have to sink my teeth into stealing that one from him.
Well, this is true. I mean, we spoke to Rob a few months ago now, and like you said, we had one hell of a time with him. He was such a cool guy. Like I said, so respectful. We had a lot of respect for him. Like I said, he was teaching, he's wrestling, he was looking after the kids when his wife was out. He was a top guy. But I would like to see you get your hands on Frank the Clown as well, though. I must admit, that is something I'd like to see.
Please. I think you'd be doing us all a favor.
That's what I'm saying, man. Rob, I think, is a great guy when you're not on the receiving end, when it's not at your own expense. Yeah. But when it is at your expense, he's got a way of turning the crowd against you and turning the tide to make you look like the bad guy. And another thing I've been doing during all this time off is watching all the old freelance shows from before I even started training with them. Our original shows at the Abbey before that place burned down to where we are now at Logan Square. He's had a very interesting career with freelance, where he's always kind of been a top guy. And, he took a little bit of time away when he had his first kid, but then when he comes back, he's just dominating everybody. And I didn't know him before. I never met him personally before he started working with Frank. And I'm looking at it now, and, as much buzz as that little clown is able to create, one of these days, Rob's got to realize, dude's been kicking ass for 20 years. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need Frank. I personally think Frank the Clown weighs him down. And one of these days, I'd like him to see that as well. And if not, if I ever get the opportunity to go one-on-one with Rob, I'm coming for some revenge on the nuts. But most importantly, I want to take Frank the Clown out. I'm a no clown zone.
You do realize if you were to take out Frank the Clown, that would make you an indie darling, right?
Yeah, I think I would finally be loved for, everything that I've been trying to contribute to this business since I've started. A lot of people don't do well to ridicule and insult. I mean, it's one of the things in this business that Twitter and all the trolls and everybody gets at people. But I want to turn that around to kind of give people the middle finger to all of that. And I think I'm being a martyr. I think I'm doing the world a great favor, but apparently everybody just likes to give me the finger back. So one of these days, when I take Frank out, maybe I will finally be seen as the true hero that I am. I don't know.
I personally hate clowns, and Frank the Clown is no exception. He is a clown in every 100%. Sense of the word. And like you said, he's weighing down Robert Anthony, so the sooner he ditches him, the better. And Trevor, I mean, you mentioned freelance wrestling. That's a place where I think I first saw your name pop up, and I started to follow you, and I like to think it's been a nice friendship blossom from that. I mean, you give me a hard time every now and then. It's expected.
Yeah.
I do a few things to consider. Yeah, I'm a bit of a derelict at times, but I think you're a cool guy. I want to see in 2021, all things given, I think freelance is somewhere you're going to make a big name for yourself. And especially in that Chicago area, even in the UK, the Chicago area is making a name for itself because everyone we've got friends who all know about Zelo Pro, freelance, Black Label in Indiana. That circuit right now in Chicago is hot, and it seems like you're at the center of that. So what's your strategy for 2021? Do you have anything on your list you're desperate to tick off?
Yeah, I mean, starting with my home promotion of freelance, that's the biggest one for me. I got a couple of opportunities really early on into my wrestling career. I think my first match was about 5 months after I started training, and I came out there trying to win everybody over and have a good time, and I ended up losing to this guy Graham Bell, and he's a fantastic wrestler, but I don't know how they let the dude into the building with a bazooka. That's a whole nother story. But I'm 0-2. I'm 0-2 at freelance right now, and in that time, I mean, obviously we haven't really had shows for most of the last year, but in that time off, I've had a lot of time to really evaluate where I'm at on things and mentally. And there's a lot of spots opening up at freelance. There's some guys that have gotten signed and women that have been signed and off to greener pastures, and others are just no longer wrestling. And with that, I see openings. I see that. I don't know the exact date of when freelance is going to come back, but I know that those openings are there. And going back to the early history of freelance, it wasn't what it is now. I feel like the last year that we've had a lot of growth as a company, but to me, it feels like a lot of other wrestlers used freelance as a placemat, as a stepping, as a revolving door. And a big statement that I want to make in 2021 is that is not a place that freelance is. This is my home, and I have put a lot of hard work and time into things behind the scenes that people don't know about. I've spent more time in that school than a lot of other people. And when the opportunity comes, I've fumbled the bag once, and I'm not going to do that again. And I want to be on the front lines that anybody, whether you like me or not, if you're coming into freelance, you're coming into my house. And that's my biggest goal that I want to establish. I want to be able to say that I am the first student out of this academy that's truly homegrown, that's truly trying to put this place on my back. And not even for the glory of myself, I want to take the company to bigger heights. I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand about me. Yeah, I'm a prick, but I'm a team player for the bigger vision. I might not play well with others directly and my peers, but in terms of seeing the bigger picture, that's something that I want to do. And I want to do that also with Zelo Pro. I think they've done a really good job of opening the floodgates for a lot of us students. While I don't like a lot of my other students, we are all a very different group of personalities. If you notice that, a lot of the people that come out of Chicago and freelance, very different people. And when you see a lot of different areas and what Chicago style was before, everybody was doing the same things. There wasn't really anybody that stood out, and it wasn't even I've got to have this gimmick. There wasn't a lot of people that were doing it, just didn't really have that personality. And now we have people coming from all different walks of life. And I will say, like I said, as much as I don't like these people, that's something that I've got to respect, is that there is a plethora of talents that we're all training together. We're hungry, and we're all at each other's throats on a daily basis, trying to get to that next level. And it's not even a matter of tearing each other down. I mean, I'll tear any one of them son of a bitches down if I have to, but everybody just wants to make where we're at better,
Yeah. You've got to do that though, especially on the independents, because if you're not working together, you're not going to reach that next level. And like you said, you want to stop people using freelance as a stepping stone, which I think is really important, because it's not a stepping stone. It should be a place where you want to end up, you want to become the champion of, and stay there for as long as you can.
Absolutely.
If people do go on to greener pastures, good for them. But you want freelance to be that greener pasture eventually.
Absolutely.
For someone like you, I think if they're going to use freelance as a stepping stone, to quote Shawn Michaels, they'd better step hard, because you're going to be the guy at the top of it eventually.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'd like to think I learned my lesson very early on of, you know, it's very easy for little spotlights and little flashlights to get to people's heads. And I think, you know, I was whirling with joy the first time I stepped out there. But now that, like, I realize that, like, it ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It ain't all going to be perfect. You know, everybody has this idea of wrestling, that of what it's meant to be. And it's like, Rome isn't built in a day. We can't just, you know, snap our fingers and change things. I mean, I think there have been a lot of good changes that have come in a short period of time over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But in terms of, you know, reinventing the wheel, that's not going to happen. But in terms of stepping yourself up, like, it's a timely process. And I squandered, like I said, I've told you guys, I squandered an opportunity in the past when I was young and dumb. I mean, I'm still young and dumb, but in terms of just knowing what it feels like to not be on some of these shows, knowing what it feels like, I'm setting up these damn rings, I'm coming in before anybody else, putting this work in, and you know what, knowing that when the next opportunity comes, don't forget these things that I had to do in the meantime. And I think a lot of people don't think about the journey anymore. They think about just the destination. Everyone wants to get signed. Everyone wants to be here. Everyone wants to be there. Well, that's fine and dandy, but if you can't wrestle, if you can't be a good professional wrestler, what this sport is based on at the end of the day, then what does it matter, you know?
Do you think some of the problem, no, I won't say a problem because it's actually not a problem, it's a good thing, but I feel like it's easier nowadays to get the attention of the bigger companies than ever. Like, you know, one of your GIFs on Twitter might go viral. You might end up with a match on Dynamite, or, you know, you've got the AEW Dark spots, which are open to plenty of independent wrestlers right now. It's never been easier to get the attention of the bigger companies. Do you feel like people are forgetting, like you said, the journey where you become a name on the independents and they're just rushing straight to getting signed?
Absolutely. I think, and that's, and it goes back to what we were talking earlier about people using the indies and certain companies as stepping stones. You know, I'm all for having goals. I'm all for it. But, you know, you can't just jump the gun on these things. And I think part of, I guess, you know, I don't like to give away my secrets of the trade, but I guess this one I can, because it's very blatant. You know, part of my thing is that I focus on when I'm in the ring with my opponent, I'm focused on winning that fight, but I'm also psychologically breaking these people down. You know, I'll choke you out and I'll make you look at the hard camera, because if that's what you're so focused on where your cues are, I'll point you in that direction, but I'm still going to kick your ass. You know, it's, there's no doubt about it. You have to have a star power in this business, and you have to have something that'll make you stand out, whether it be your persona, the gifts, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's still a fight. And that's something that I'm going to remind everybody that's in there with me, because that's kind of what leaves a bad taste in my mouth with wrestling. And, you know, whether I know who I'm wrestling or not, whatever else our prior history is before that fight, I'm looking at everybody the same. Y'all are treating this as a stepping stone. Y'all are trying to get from A to C without remembering what B is. And it looks like I'm B, you know?
Yeah. So, speaking as a whole, I know we mentioned Chicago, but during the pandemic, I think to Callum, I think the indie scene has really thrived. You look like GCW, places like that. What's your thoughts being on the indie scene during this pandemic? I mean, do you think they've thrived as well?
Absolutely. And, you know, I think as difficult as it is for wrestling in a pandemic can be, I think this is when the people who really want it and the people that are really hungry are crawling out of the woodwork for it. Because, you know, before it was, I think there were so many indies that people were just taking advantage of. I can go here. And it's great that there are all these places to go to, but it's, you know, it's one of those things that, like, now that everything is going on, people have to put there's a lot of extra steps you have to take to make it happen. And if you didn't have the best work ethic before, I mean, you've got to take COVID tests before, after. You have to be quarantining. You still have to be training. You still have to be there to help set up the show. I mean, you know, it's not just show up, wrestle, and get your payday and leave. You actually have to put in extra work outside of that with helping the shows run and things like that now. So to be able to see that, I've definitely gained some respect for a lot more wrestlers that are trying to make it work during this time, and promoters as well. You know, it's not an easy thing. When I was at the Collective, you know, I was just there helping out and doing whatever I can to network and pay some dues, and seeing how well, you know, GCW's promoter Brett had, I mean, he had everything down to a science, you know, and allocating, the AIW students, and there were freelance students. There was a bunch of different people that were really there just trying to help things run smoothly, because all we want is to bring wrestling back. I think it's going to be a while before it's at full capacity. It's definitely going to be a long time. But on the flip side, like, I think that's a good thing, because that's making these companies think of how to be more resourceful to reach out to these people digitally. You have to market yourself better. You have to put yourself out there more and make yourself more accessible on a digital platform. And if you can do that for your diehards during a time where people can't be there, when things come back, you're going to be able to do things how you were before, and with this new skill set that you have. Sure. And I don't even think, and damn, now that I think about that, the light bulb just went off for me. I don't know if anybody else even thought of that yet.
Well, it's been specifically hard for British promotions too. Like you said, it's not back at capacity yet for America, but we haven't had a wrestling event in the UK for almost a year. It's
crazy to me.
We haven't seen. When it took March time, we last had one.
So one of the reasons we've kind of latched ourselves onto the American scene so much. I mean, we loved American independent wrestling anyway. It's kind of what got me into wrestling. But
yeah,
it's over this pandemic, we've just been like eyes absolutely glued to the American independent scene. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, there's still been like the collective 12 shows over 3 days. Amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it was definitely like the wrestling hangover I needed.
Yeah, man. Like, if there's not much wrestling going on right now, at least you got a dose of 12 shows in 3 days. That's insane. Even for a non-pandemic year, that would be a crazy amount of shows.
Oh, but, yeah. It still ran like a WrestleMania weekend, man. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's just it. It seemed like a WrestleMania. Even watching on Fight TV, it seemed like a WrestleMania weekend. Mm-hmm. And there was so much buzz and so much hype about it. And even though it was all in the same arena, every show seemed different.
Yeah, every show had its own vibe and feel to it. Yeah. And I think that was another thing that really made me be like, all right, like I can see like who it made it very clear of who wants it and who doesn't, Mm-hmm. And not just to the wrestlers, but to, like I said, the promotions as well. So really to see everybody kind of step up their game and bring something different to the table rather than just, and even if it's something as simple as a cosmetic change of, putting your own canvas on or slapping your own turnbuckles on. Like, I don't think people realize how far slapping a logo on something goes, People's eyes draw to that stuff,
Yeah. One person we did speak to the other day. Go on, Jeremy.
No, I was just going to say, obviously, because you are a big deal, Trevor. We did our research.
Yeah, I appreciate that, boys.
I was doing a bit of research. I didn't go into it big time, but I did see somewhere you had some advice from Effie. We spoke to Effie a couple of nights ago. What's it like being getting to, I guess, know Effie and work with Effie?
Effie's a genius. Like, point blank. I think he understands this business so well. He understands. I think Effie has found the right way to navigate through all the BS that's in wrestling and like, put it to a stop right in front of him. He's like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm not. This is what I stand for. And I will not stand for these things that are going on. And, on a professional level, I think everything that Effie's doing is fantastic. And even on a personal level too, I don't have a very good relationship with a lot of wrestlers, but one that I do is with Effie, because I remember at one of the last Black Label Pro shows, Effie came up to me after the show. I was sweeping up, helping tear down. And comes up to me, he goes, we need to get you off this broom and in that ring. And I said, my time's going to come. The opportunity's going to come. We exchanged information that day, and I sent him some stuff that I was working on. And, he gave me a lot of advice about what I'm doing in my promos, and don't do the same things that everybody else are doing. Drop the hat or drop the sunglasses. And after Christmas, my mom smacked me upside the head and threw my sunglasses to the ground. So I think we're coming to an end of an era on that. So my mom and Effie have been two very instrumental characters in teaching me how to conduct myself in this business.
Yeah, he's got such a good mind for the business. I knew he was a smart guy just from like seeing interviews with him, but when I was speaking to him, I was like, this guy really understands the pro wrestling industry and how to make parts of it better. Like, one thing he was saying is one way to grow the pro wrestling industry is there's so much crossover with like the video game world and stuff like that. We should be going into all of these other worlds, selling them pro wrestling and bringing them back and expanding the wrestling industry, making new fans. And because you're saying right now, nothing that anyone is doing is really making new fans. So we've got to go out and make them. And I was like, it's absolutely right. I'd never really thought of it like that before.
It's all just been retainment of the same types of fans and the same things. And, when you have that, a lot of wrestlers, it translates like that in the ring as well. I won't knock anybody's ability for anything that they're able to do physically in the ring, but people are fucking. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
You can swear. It's fine.
Hey, man.
I don't like to drop F-bombs this early in the day for me. Well, I know it's late as hell for you guys, but
drop them away, man.
I gotta save them for a special occasion. But I see these guys diving head first and throwing themselves out onto concrete, and I'm like, you guys don't have to do that for these people. I'm like, if these people want to be entertained, show them you know how to fight. Show them you know how to entertain them. I'm not going to kill myself for these people that ultimately don't care. It's not bringing in anybody new. And you have to be able to tap into people outside of the world. I have so many people that know me prior to starting wrestling that would have never watched anything that I'm doing, or they'll come up to me if I haven't seen them in a while. They're like, oh, I've really enjoyed your videos. Now, of course they have, because I'm a genius, but you've got to attract those other people that might not watch it. You have to give them something that's going to draw them in. I look at a guy like, aside from Effie, look, the biggest example in the world I can think of is Conor McGregor. Not nearly as many people watched UFC before they heard him start to run his mouth as they did.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
And people love shit talking. People love shit talking, and people love when other people have new ideas and something fresh to bring to the table. And I think Effie has the perfect combination of being able to do that. Effie knows how to talk his shit. The first exchange of banter him and I had, we were going back and forth for a few minutes, and that was ultimately what earned his respect before the veteran status or any of the other advice he gave me. This guy can go. But being able to really just try to draw new people in and be able to acknowledge the fact that this business is not perfect. Wrestling is as awesome as it is. There's a lot of shit in wrestling that needs to get changed and needs to get fixed. We have more technology now and more accessibility now to wrestling than ever before. There were 10 million people watching wrestling during the Monday Night Wars. And maybe not everybody has cable now. There's probably a shit ton of people that are streaming things illegally in numbers you can't track. But even with that being a factor, numbers should be higher than they've ever been, and they're not. And it's because nobody is adapting to what's going on. Nobody is trying to grab new people in. I don't care if you want to see me get my ass kicked, but if I put something out there that makes you want to see me get my ass kicked, fine. That's a new eye that I'm bringing into something. I'm like, you know what? If it's got to be at my expense, or so you think, that's fine, because you can go into it and root against me, but I'm probably going to win, and that's going to piss you off. But then that's going to make you want to stay and want to see me get my ass kicked next time. And I might never give them that. They might never see me lose. I might be undefeated the rest of my career when wrestling returns.
It's a possibility, Trevor. Let's face facts.
Yeah, I think calling a spade is it's very possible. It's very doable. And if I can bring those new eyes in to have them watch that, fine. Effie can do it as well. One of these days, Effie and I will collide, and it will be, I guarantee you it'll be 90% of people that are watching it are not wrestling fans. And I hope to God it's at a freelance show, because there's a lot of people that come to those shows that aren't traditionally wrestling fans that, can see something like that. I don't want to do exactly what Effie's doing, because what Effie's doing is Effie's, but the same principles of what he's trying to do is what I would also like to do. And I think if we all change our mentality, as much of a me sport as wrestling is and has to be, even on an Olympic and amateur level, it's the same way. You have to do the same thing. It's an individual sport, but you're putting points on the board for the team if you're trying to do something to make it all better as a whole. And I think that's what more people need to kind of open their eyes to, and more people need to take that mentality. There's plenty of the pie to go around for everyone, but we also got to bake them damn things,
That's true. Can I just say as well, if you do go one-on-one with Effie at freelance, can you please make sure it's when me and Callum are in Chicago?
Oh, because,
that's
you guys will have front row tickets for that joint.
Oh, we'll be there, man. Absolutely. Yeah. There isn't a day that goes by where me and Jamie don't discuss about going back to Chicago. It was the best holiday we've ever had. Seriously, absolutely love that place.
I'll have a whole itinerary for you guys when we come out here, places to eat and things to do.
I think the most we pushed it to last time was we went to Five Guys near Millennium Park. And then we went for...
you remember, I got stopped by a lady in the car to compliment me on my beard. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we're just crossing the road.
And you were like, oh, I love this place.
This is the greatest place on earth. You don't get that here in the UK. I've never, ever had that over here. And
yeah, what you get in the UK is, oh, you wanker.
Yeah. 5 minutes in Chicago, some woman's pulling a car up and all right, I'm done. Chicago's my favourite place in the world now. Yeah. But, and it actually is, Trevor, just for the record. It is literally the best place I've been to, and we will.
You don't realise how lucky you are, man.
Yeah.
I think about that sometimes. When I was, I've grown up in Chicago my whole life, and when I went to college, I ended up going to the University of Iowa, the next state over, west of us, and I kind of had to get out of Chicago for a while because I would look at buildings every day that I'm like, these should be blowing my mind at the architectural marvels that these things are. And I'm just like, it's the Bean, or it's this or that, it's another day. So, I left and being at university for the 3 years that I was, and then coming home, it definitely refreshed my perspective on how lucky I am out here to have, one, the amazing food places we do, but Chicago's a really cool city. But man, I'm itching to get myself overseas over there. I can only imagine, it's traveling around the UK has got to be pretty easy for you guys, correct? Because it's all like train.
Yeah, I mean, relatively compared to you. Yeah, I mean, in America, you can travel for 12 hours in Texas and still be in Texas.
Yeah.
In the UK, travel for 12 hours, you're in Bulgaria.
That's awesome. See, now that's the trade-off that you guys have that I wish I had. I can sit on a train for 12 hours, but I would probably drunk sleeping through half of it on the Pink Line and down on the Loop.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you could come to the UK and you could probably do 3 or 4 shows in one day and just drive in your car to each venue. The furthest place for us, you're looking at maybe a 6-hour drive. That's the furthest we'd have to drive to somewhere in this country.
Yeah, that would be going from Scotland as well to London.
I'd be tripping out if I was in a car over there. I know y'all drive on the other side of the road. I'd have to get used to that.
The correct side, yeah.
I'll call that one fair. Everybody else in the world drives on that side. We do everything wrong. We don't even.
Classic America.
I know people that don't even know what the metric system is, and I'm just like, surrounded by derelicts, man.
You did take the words out of my mouth. That I was going to say to you, is wrestling in the UK something you want to do? I'm presuming yes, it is.
Absolutely. I've gotten a lot of time to study different promotions, during this time off, and I know there are so many more out there that I've probably never even heard of, and I just think the Brit Rest style and the UK style is something that I would really like to challenge myself in. As much as I'm a showboater and as much as I like to, run around and cheetah print like a jackass, I like to fight, and I like to instigate fights. And I know you guys got some tough son of a bitches over there that are ready to go toe to toe at all times. And, I think that's a place that I could really learn a lot and adapt from. My favorite thing about wrestling is the discipline that it takes to train, to get better and to do these things. And I think coming over to the UK, I feel like that would challenge me in a way that I wouldn't expect somewhere else. And I mean, same with like Japan. Japan and the UK are the main 2 places that I really, really want to go. There's a lot of places across America that I would love to go, but as many different territories as there are in the US and as different as everybody would like to be, there's still some sort of similarity, and there's still a very fine line of what differs in American style wrestling that, I mean, it's bar none to what you guys have over there and what's, over in Japan as well. It's just a different style. People take it more seriously. And
American indie is its own style, though, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like I said, there's nothing against it, but like, I want to fight. I'm like, I want people to see that I can go. I've got to do all this, jumping around like a jackass, and that's why I think all these people are derelicts, because, you know, I'll play along, you know, I'll run around and I'll dance like a fool and I'll showboat all you want. But I know that's going to grab people's eyes. You know, that's, like I told you earlier, that's the one piece of my arsenal that I will give away to people, because if I'm going to spoon feed to these people how stupid and how big a derelicts they all are, I'm going to let them know my intention, you know, and I truly feel like that is what hopefully will get me to the next level. I want to piss off the right person that wants to fight me from that, and we'll see what happens from there.
Hell yeah. And when you get over to the UK, the bonus is, one, don't worry about hotels, because I have a house here. We can travel around, man. Me and Callum will come with you. We'll drive from show to show. So all you've got to do is get your flight over. The rest is done. We'll rock and roll together. That's
the Outlaw Express.
Damn straight. I love it.
I have a nice selection of whiskey. We're sorted, man. We're sorted.
Oh, you're speaking my language now. I'm speaking my love language, brother.
Hell yeah. Moving back to Chicago, though, as well, I did want to ask you about another person, because I have noticed with the indie scene, we've seen a lot of female talent rise to the top again lately. And one of them, Chicago's own Missa Kate, who me and Callum have become good friends with as well. Is Missa someone you obviously come up with as well?
Yeah, we train together pretty frequently as well. The main reason I want to fight Missa is because she's a Cubs fan and I'm a Sox fan. And she... Yeah, the North Side, South Side rivalry is a real thing, bro. Like, I'm very territorial on my South Side, and you know, we do share a similar love of sweets. I have a really bad sweet tooth as well, so you know, those Krispy Kreme donuts, I can relate to her there. But man, you know, Chicago sweetheart is gonna learn a lesson courtesy of yours, really, that the South Side is the best side.
I never realized.
No, thank you.
I never realized I wanted to see that match so much till you just talked about it. Now I want to see it. But it's the same.
The Cubs versus Sox rivalry is a real one, man, and that will drive a blood feud between her and I.
Oh, it's the same over here where we're from. Our city, the East and the West. Our rugby teams. We've got two rugby teams in our city. It's exactly the same, East and West, and it draws blood. It draws blood. Believe me.
Oh,
so
for
I'm
sure.
Totally with you on that. But yeah, I mean, I love my donuts, but I never realised, like I said, how much I want to see you and Missa Kate go one-on-one. That'd be
a fun one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people associated with, you know, the Chicagoland area that I really want to wrestle. Blair Onyx, you guys spoke with her.
Yeah, man.
She's creepy, man. She's a creepy little spider, and I see her around at shows, and she's just like doing her spider thing, and I'm terrified. You know, I'm scared of bugs, but I know she can fight. She was trained over at Black and Brave, and she's popped over at Freelance a few times. Especially her and Elena together, they're a deadly tag team.
Yeah.
Those are two. You know, all three of those ladies are three that are on the scene right now that I would really like to wrestle. I think Elena, in terms of like true homegrown people as well from the Freelance Academy, she's the first one to really break out. And really make a name for herself on you know, more of a nationwide platform than a lot of you know, anyone else has. And as proud of her as I am for how hard, because I know she works hard, she puts a lot of work in. But you know, another person when Freelance comes back, like she has a very valid argument for being a top dog on the scene out here. And I noticed that, and I recognize that, and I've you know, our paths have never crossed in the ring yet, and we are on good terms. But when it comes down to it, you know, once those spots open up, like, I'm coming for everyone's throats. I don't care, man, woman, child, animal, whatever you are. If you're in a professional wrestling ring, you know what you signed up for. And if, you know, it's going to be left hands, left hooks, jaws, you know, it's going to be kicks in the nads, and probably going to spit in some people's faces after I get vaccinated, you know, that safety first. Safety first. But yeah, we've got a really good scene out here, and I'm really looking forward to crossing paths with a lot of other talents. And as much as I want to challenge myself to go against these guys that I train with, I really just want to stick their heads in the dirt. So,
Trevor, before we start to wrap things up, I'd be stupid if I didn't mention you're wearing a Super Kicks t-shirt, who I believe is your sponsor.
Yes,
Would that
sir.
be right?
Selling out for the big bucks, baby.
Yeah, man.
Season
So I saw you did.
Season 2. I'm ready.
I saw you did an advert recently.
Yeah.
You got a bit of stick in that advert for not being able to throw a super kick.
Yeah, well, I do need to find a new cameraman now because I knocked my old one out, and he was my roommate too, and unfortunately, I wish him the best on his future endeavors. He's no longer with me, so I'm gonna have to find a new cameraman for season 2.
Luckily, with all that sponsor money, you'll be able to afford that.
I've got a little bit left over. I did indulge a lot of that money into cups, a lot of that money into whiskey for me and my boy James, and I've got a little bit left in the budget for a new cameraman. So season 2 is coming out soon. Really hyped about that. I'll be rocking all that, and I went through a little identity crisis with that last ad. I went babyface for a day. I impressed my mother. She liked that. And that video caught me at a low point. But you know what? I like to roll with the punches. I'm not gonna if someone's gonna make fun of me at my expense. I think I'm a smart enough businessman to know that that's fine. Like, make fun of me, but you know what? You're still gonna click my page. When I got hit in the nuts, I got all these people that started following me after that, and they're like, you should be embarrassed, blah, 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 blah. No, but I'm definitely going to market myself off of it, and I'm, make fun of me all you want, but, I'm still going to take your dollars. So,
hell yeah.
It was a rough patch when I shaved my face, but we're gonna do another video for season 2. I'm gonna have a new cameraman. We're gonna do some cool stuff.
And the new promo code.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do the promo code. We're gonna go all out on this one. It was season one was a dark time for me. People got to see that in the ad, but season 2 is gonna be a good one.
Oh, we're gonna
flex all that. We're gonna flex all that season 2 cash we got, baby.
Yeah.
Embrace that beard, man, as well. Never shave.
Never. It's never going away again. I'm never shaving my beard again.
When you sent the ad over, I showed it to Jamie, and I was like, something looks different about Trevor, and I couldn't put my finger on it for a minute. And we watched it back a couple of times. I was like, his fucking beard's gone.
Yeah, I had a Britney Spears moment. I was sitting alone in my bedroom. I ran out of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, crying to myself, and then I just had a moment, and I shaved it off. And at first I was like, oh wow, there's a whole new untapped market of ladies that are about to see babyface Trevor. And then I realized I hate everybody. I don't care if they like me with or without a beard. No. You wanna ride the sponsorship coattails. You wanna come hang out with yours rudely. You got to deal with the beard. Hell, you might have to pick some scraps out of there. There might be a bird chilling in there every once in a while. That might be the case. But if you can't roll with it, get the hell out.
Get out. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, mate, to your credit, you are such a man full of testosterone. You grew it back in about a week.
Yeah. It does grow pretty quickly. So.
Yeah, man. I feel like we're just like brothers from another mother. I mean, we drink whiskey.
That's what I'm saying. I can see the resemblance. Are you sure we're not actually related?
Yeah, it's uncanny, isn't it?
And Callum will tell you as well. I don't like people as well. So I mean, we're
two peas in a pod.
Jamie gets told all the time he looks like Tom Hardy. So and that means you do too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a lot of delusional people over here.
I might have to pull some funds aside for a 23andMe investment. We're gonna have to we're gonna have the long lost family reunion we've been waiting to have for all these years.
Get that DNA test. This should be a great spot if we were sponsored by 23andMe. I'm gonna go.
We're getting there subliminally, dog. Wait, the next interview we have, I'll be wearing my season 2 attire. I'll have what's that shit that everyone drinks? G Fuel or whatever?
G Fuel,
We'll have a G Fuel sponsorship. We'll have Liquid Death over here. We got to get Blue Chew. I should call them actually. I haven't been pissing right since October, so probably look into that one too.
We can hook you up at Manscaped if you need Manscaped.
I do need a Manscaped. Thank you very much.
We'll do that.
Yeah, I gotta clean up the chest pubes.
We'll hook you up, mate. No worries.
All you've got to do is just type ringside and get 20% off with Manscaped. I mean,
oh wow.
I might as well.
Did you say 20% off if I use code Ringsiders.
Yep, that's RINGSIDERS at checkout. Ringsiders for 20% off.
Look at that. You hear that, people listening? 20% off. You guys can shave your balls just like I'm gonna when I get mine.
Hell yeah, man. And he really works as well. Look at this. I'm more of a shill than Chris Jericho. Brilliant.
I would actually pay Trevor to do all of our adverts. Like, this is the most we've ever shilled in a show before. And
yeah, we can.
The only change is Trevor Outlaw's here.
My manager can meet with your guys' people. We can negotiate a new deal.
We'll sort something out.
Absolutely. We'll sort out the details.
Are you trying to, before we go, are you trying to say Trevor's the third man?
Trevor's the third man.
Yeah? I'm down with that.
We're the tripod, baby.
Hell yeah.
Ladders stand well when you put them on an angle, but when you put a tripod on the ground flat, ain't nothing knocking that thing down.
Yeah.
God. Damn it! I need to write a book. I'm writing a book. That's gonna be.
I'm motivated, man. I'm hyped.
Hell yeah.
See, now the important part, before we do wrap this up, this is where you now get to promote all your social medias and your merchandise. Anything you want to plug, feel free.
All right. Let me grab my notes here. All right. So, first and foremost, I am sponsored by my mom. Thanks for giving birth to me, Mama Outlaw. You're the shit. Still kind of pissed at you for breaking my sunglasses. On the Twitters, on Instagram, it's at @TheTrevorOutlaw. ProWrestlingTees.com/TrevorOutlaw. Go to superkicks.com. Get yourself some merch. Use promo code Outlaw for 10% off. That's a whole ass 10%. I stole the whole ass from Scrum Hopper, the PWT cast. So sorry about that one, buddy. You can send me a cease and desist later. My people will pay the expenses of that. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I do enough putting myself over on the internet. What I really want to put over is I'm really excited for season 2. You guys got some cool ass shit in the works. Just this little teasers you guys have given have me like super anxious for it. I think you guys did a really good job with season 1 of just kind of, putting yourselves out there with, the way that you guys have done such a good job with networking with podcasts with the other brand and doing those things simultaneously. I've got a lot of respect for that. And I think now that people are kind of starting to see what you guys, you're still in your infancy. This is brand new still, but to see how much you guys are doing, how much work you guys are putting in, you mentioned that you have those derelict moments earlier, but I got to say, I'm not wearing a hat because, look at this beautiful hair, but my hat would be off to you guys for the work you're putting in. So keep doing that because, we're the tripod, baby. We're going to take over the world together.
You're also a Superkicks OG since day one.
Day one, motherfuckers.
Day one.
Yeah.
Goes a long way with us, man. Goes a long way with us. But,
always,
we
can't, friends support each other, and now we're going to be making billions of dollars together, sitting on
billions. Yeah. Open checkbook. Billions.
Oh, yeah. Tony Khan, watch out. We're going to start our own promotion one of these days.
Superkicks Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine. Me and Callum, we'll move out to Chicago, Callum, and we'll do that. I'm fine.
Fine with that, man. Let's do it.
When things, you know what? When things come back, and I plan my eventual takeover of the Midwest, starting with freelance wrestling. We're gonna take over that business together. I'm gonna need some people by my side, and there's not a lot of derelicts in the ring in Chicago that I trust to do business with. So I think I might have to do an international expansion on day one.
That's it, man. Like I said,
that's money moves.
People speak to all people.
Count us in, man. Count us in. Let's make some money together. Let's rock and roll and make some money.
Do it.
All for it.
Let's get this bread, as they say.
But for now, though, Trevor, it has been an absolute pleasure. As rude as you are also a genius and a wonderful human being.
Yeah,
you are.
Thank you.
That he is.
Wrestler.
So kind.
Trevor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We are excited.